Hey there, everybody. It's Jenna. It is Saturday, November 6th, is it? And I just got out of a car and I've been driving for hours and I'm really tired. And so tonight's going to be a really short show because I'm not in the greatest. I'm a little wiped out. So let's do a quick check in with everybody. How's everybody doing? Hey, William D. Party, party, party. I saw a beautiful photo today from Jeff Metzger from the wedding. I literally set everything up, ran downstairs, got some tea. I thought it was like 8, maybe 8:02, and I went 8:10. Wow. Got Tony the Tiger here, Lillian Pearls to my right. Hey, Carl Hess. How are you? Wow. Here we are. We are in the library, and I am going to, hey, Michael. Yeah, going to get some rest and then probably get back on the road tomorrow. And it's crazy. It's pretty crazy. Whoa, and there goes my lights. My brand new, not holding very well. That'll work. Nope, that doesn't work. That'll work. Ladies and gentlemen, one more Saturday night with Gary Lambert. I gotta go make some juice. Hey there. Oh, it's tilting again. It's not wanting to. Hi. Wait, I can't find my pause button. Hold on. There it is. Hi there.
Hi there. Now I got myself unmuted.
Unmute myself.
And I got myself unreclined in the recliner. I was reclining.
Yeah, that looks comfy.
It's comfy. Yeah, I've moved the couch is on vacation for a little bit.
I see.
Yeah, I after my marathon of streaming, I decided to shut down Couch Studios for a little while.
Yeah, I'm just recreating mine right this very second. So
yeah. Well, this is for one thing. This is closer to the router, so I don't need a 50-foot Ethernet cable to connect. So that makes things more convenient.
Well, this is what's throwing everything off. It's supposed to be able to click your phone and a light, but my phone keeps throwing off the.
Oh, is it like interesting. Well, it's always something.
I think I'm going to go back to the washcloth.
Could be.
Or the candle.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
I'm good. It's been, kind of a week of decompression after this insane, intense period of stuff. So it's a good week for a short show because I got nothing.
I'm past that right this second.
Yeah.
But we did make it here, so cheers to us for making it.
So where did you drive from and to?
I was in Oakland and then I drove to Lakeport and I got stuck in some pretty gnarly traffic and then I had to drive behind these big trucks and there was a truck behind me and I pulled over and waited and then I got here at like 8:07 and then my sister helped me carry my bags upstairs and I looked at the clock and it was 8:10 and went, oh, okay, I'll just roll on. So
right, that translates to 8 or 11:10 where I am. So yeah. You did it. And you started the day in Oakland. I'm representing, so I got a little athletics going on
Yeah,
here.
started the day with the show with Jeff Metzger, and
Mm-hmm.
we're celebrating his birthday and his daughter's wedding,
Right.
and then went to the Oakland Farmers Market, and then walked around Grand Lake for a little bit, and then was going to go to do a couple other 5-10 things, but decided to get on the road because I tried to get here before the dark, but I didn't get here.
Yeah.
But I got here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as I said, I've kept my week kind of deliberately uneventful. Um, you know, I got on with you, I think it was during like very,
During
very
Bird Song.
during Birdsong of the second to last show of the tour. Um, and then so Sunday was the last show, and it was incredible. Great ending to the tour. The whole Hollywood Bowl run
So
was a great
cool.
ending to the tour. Um,
Thank you.
and for our last show, we found out like
Oh no.
how what's up? What did
You're
you?
kind of coming in and out. I don't know if it's me or you.
I don't. I'm seeing myself okay, and I don't know, and I'm seeing you okay,
Are
and
you
I'm
seeing this thing fall again?
yeah. I'm seeing the thing fall. It's very strange. It's gonna be that kind of show. Um,
Hi, Mama Grace. Glad you made it.
Hi, Mama
Yeah,
Grace.
Patty Loman. You hear? I hear you. You just kind of went. You froze for a second. All
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I mean my connection should be really strong because I am plugged into Ethernet, but I don't know. You never
I'll take
know.
it. You know,
It,
I'll
it
take it.
it's just pictures and sound flying through space. It shouldn't be possible at all. So the fact that it happens at all is just great.
Amazing,
Um, yeah, so the tour ended, and our little halftime show was like a huge success. People loved it. We're hearing the band and the management loved it. So when they tour again, I think we'll get to do it again. And we had this amazing effect. We did a few things. We did some charitable fundraising, and we did some it's like plugging of some people's cool projects. Like we had Rosie McGee on, who's this longtime Grateful Dead family member. She and Phil Lesh were a couple in like 1966 to I think 70 or so. And she's a great photographer, and she took some really iconic photos of the band early on. And she also was famous for dancing on stage with the band. And so she's got great stories, and she has a book of her photographs coming out. And she started a Kickstarter or GoFundMe or one of those. I think it was Kickstarter. And as a result of her being on our show, it reached its goal in like 6 days, and she had,
That's all you need.
yeah. And then we had Ken Babbs on. Our final guest was Ken Babbs of the Merry Pranksters, which is perfect for Halloween, of course, a Merry Prankster for trick or treat. And he's got a book coming out, which ought to be amazing because it's all stories of his adventures with Ken Kesey and Neil Cassidy and the Dead. And he was on with us for like
Wait,
20 minutes.
they're watching a really loud movie downstairs. Let me
Oh,
turn this off. Let me shut
okay.
this door.
Okay.
Can you guys lower the volume on the TV, please? I'll shut the door, but I don't know if that would help. They have one of those big TVs downstairs. Yeah. They're watching the movie and everything shakes the wall.
It's like a home theater surround sound. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
those can be loud. Well, it's not. I'm not hearing it here, so it's only bothering you, not the general audience, I don't think. But anyway,
Jenna's show. Thank you, Patty. Let's do it.
Yeah. So Ken Babbs was on, and they started taking his book is coming out, I think, early next year, but they started taking pre-orders for it, and they got 400 pre-orders during like 20 minutes that he was on with us, which was incredible. So the whole thing was amazingly effective, and it was weird to have it over the next day. It was like, oh, what do we do now? But
yeah,
I'll think of something. But so it's been just kind of decompressed this week. I went and saw a really, really good movie. Um, this documentary called Learning to Live Together, subtitled The Return of Mad Dogs and Englishmen.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's centered on this concert, this thing that happened at the Locken Festival, I think 5 years ago, 6 years, 2015, I think it was. The one of the themes of the Locken Festival is getting together these sort of cross genre and cross generational, performances. And Derek and Susan, Tedeschi Trucks Band, put together a reunion of as many of the surviving members of the Joe Cocker Mad Dogs and Englishmen tour as they could, including Leon Russell. I think it was one of Leon's last performances. He died the next year. And people like Rita Coolidge and Claudia Lanier and who's the drummer, Chuck Blackwell, a bunch of the people who were still around from that tour. And it was extraordinary. It just showed the debt of, this generation to that generation. And then it also illuminated Joe Cocker and Leon Russell's the debt that they owed to their musical roots, and it was just brilliant. So they made this documentary, which is a combination, kind of like a history of the whole of Joe Cocker and Leon Russell and all that stuff. They had archival footage from the original tour, and interviews from the original tour, footage from the original tour. And then they had footage of the rehearsals for this one-off gig, and just a lot of the people in the Mad Dogs and Englishmen band. For people who don't know, this was like this crazy communal rock tour that happened very spur of the moment, because Joe Cocker, the band that made him famous at Woodstock, the Grease band, fell apart like just before Joe was going to start a tour, and they wanted to cancel the tour. And it was like they said, yeah, if you cancel this tour, you'll never work in America again, because you're canceling on all the big promoters and all the big venues. And Joe Cocker and Leon Russell had management in common. And so they said, why don't we get Leon to put together a band for you? Because he knows everybody. And so they slapped this band together. And it was like one of those big communal bus tours, before there was a lot of, flying by plane. And so all these people got like jammed together and became this crazy, somewhat dysfunctional family for the weeks of this tour. And it was strange in a way, because Joe Cocker, kind of felt it slipped away from him, as like, because Leon Russell was such a dynamic band leader.
Oh, sorry for a second. Excuse me, everybody. Okay, it's up to 12 now. Continue.
Okay. So yeah, so it was like a weird, intense, just manic kind of tour, but the music is just incredible. If you go back and listen to the live album that came from that tour, it's just extraordinary. And it kind of put Leon Russell on the map, and Joe Cocker was already on the map. And this documentary is really beautiful and touching, and there's a lot of real emotional stuff, because those people were getting back together for this one purpose. It was the last time a lot of them saw Leon, and it's pretty deep stuff. And Derek and Susan, the love they put into it was just, they're such great people. And
that's what we do when we're on stage. It's our love. It's our love. It's like working around them. I know them, and when I'm on stage, that's all I can do.
Yeah.
So I dig it. I dig when you're preparing something like that, of that magnitude. It's an honor to be able to do the music. Excuse me, sorry. For everybody ready? Oh no, done. Keeps going up and down. 11, 12, 9.
People stop fluctuating, or we're going to hear that song all
yes,
over.
You will. It's the only way I can get it out there. I'll keep playing it all
night. All right.
Hey, Daddy.
Let's keep it at 12 for a while. But anyway, I'm always happy to hear that song.
Hey, Julie Luce.
Hello, everybody. I haven't really looked at the list, because it's all happening in real time.
Julie and Patty.
And Melanie. And William. the gang, Suzanne,
Here.
Carl. Carl just had a birthday, didn't he?
Carl had a birthday yesterday, as
Yeah.
did Jeff,
Yes,
and the day before was William D.
yeah, because I go on Facebook and see whose birthday it is and wish him happy birthday. And I saw two of the 1111 posse today. That's great.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. So really recommend. It's very limited availability for this movie so far. It did a lot of like one night stands in movie theaters. It had like a 2 week run here in New York, and I call it the last day of it. And eventually it'll run its course. It'll get around to some theaters, and then it'll come out for streaming, but they don't have a date set yet. But when it does come to your living room or a theater near you, it's really,
Get it.
really, really worth
Grasp it.
seeing. It's just the cross-generational thing is very cool, and yeah, the music's awfully good. So yeah, a good thing.
All of my apps on my phone all switched places.
Uh-huh.
So my
It's
things
just
happen sometimes.
it's just not your day for technology.
Well, I finally got this to work.
Okay.
I have a lawn chair in the living room now that it's flipped to, but
Mhm.
no,
That's fine.
that's why I'm just making my collages now and just cutting things out and making pretty pictures. Pretty pictures.
Well, good.
Yep, yep, yep. Here we go. Nice. How you feeling? Oliveto is closing.
I've heard, and Terrapin Crossroads closed.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, very, very sad. I mean,
Yeah,
Oliveto, obviously I haven't lived there for years, so I hadn't been there for years, but it was just iconic, so beloved.
35 plus.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm going there Tuesday night for dinner.
nice, very
Hi,
nice.
Patty and William. Hey, Suzanne.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the Terrapin thing, unfortunate, but that's the
You don't think nothing's gonna happen? They're not gonna move it to
no.
another spot. I mean, I read the letter from Phil
Yeah,
and
I think
I responded.
I think the vagueness of the letter was, sort of, we'd like to, carry the spirit of this somewhere else, but I don't think that means a physical place, because
Yeah, I don't think so.
I can't imagine them trying to start another restaurant venue from scratch, with Phil at 81, and it's incredibly hard work and
Timing, not the
ti-
best timing.
yeah,
Thank you,
timing.
Michael. Oh, thank you.
So when I think they say they're going to move take the spirit somewhere else, I think Phil will find venues where he can do his little residency things like he's done for Pete Shapiro here. He'll find a place to do that in the Bay Area where it's not him owning and running the business, because he was tired of that. That's the thing. Like before they ever came up against this thing with the lease and the problems with the property. I think they were looking to get out as far as owning the business. I think what Phil was doing was looking for partnerships where someone else would take over the
I
day-to-day
can't imagine somebody not wanting to get involved with that, but
Well, no, people wanted to get involved, but the pandemic killed people wanting to
yeah.
get involved. I think they were close to a deal, in early 2020. And it didn't happen because of the thing. And then, the real estate situation just, it's a complicated thing to try to do,
It's complicated.
Yeah. So an honorable, they made almost 10 years, I guess. They opened
Yeah, I was there the first 2 nights.
yeah.
Got,
Yeah.
got VIP, did the whole bit, danced, party with Phil. David
Yeah.
Dodd was there, and then that next week I was there a couple other nights, but I made sure I was there for the first 2 nights.
Yeah. It's kind of, it was a special place,
Yeah.
a special scene. So thanks
What
for
did you have
that.
for lunch today?
Simple tuna, nicely, a nice melange of tuna, kind of with some of my angles on it, some of the Amish wedding relish
I was gonna ask.
in there, and some Paul Prudhomme seafood magic, and a little chili powder.
Well,
And
when you have a tuna fish sandwich, you might as well put Paul Prudhomme seafood magic on that.
that's right. That's right. It works.
Go there.
It works. So
The
yeah.
pickle on the side.
No,
Chip.
no chips on the side. A nice toasted brioche bread. Yeah, very.
You do lettuce?
I didn't today. I have, but my vegetable content was Amish wedding relish.
And then was that the last thing you had today?
Yeah, it was actually a very late, it was probably late enough to qualify as dinner, just I had a little something this morning, but yeah, so it was.
I can't remember. Forgive me. Are you an ice cream person?
I love ice cream. Yeah, I try to control it. I try
Do you
to
buy ice cream at your home for your home?
I buy ice cream for my home. I have an ice cream maker which hasn't seen enough use in recent years, a Cuisinart ice cream maker. I made some pretty good stuff for a while, and then it has that fad quality to it, like you really get into making ice cream for a while and then you don't. But
It's like when you get an air popper, or
an air
I have
popper.
this thing, the Yonanas, with the frozen
Yeah.
Yonanas.
Yeah.
2 weeks of the Yonanas, and then you're like, does anybody want Yonanas? You're like,
Well,
like,
I recommend you can force your own hand by ordering 36 bananas by mistake.
then you can freeze it and make all the Yonanas you need.
There you go. See, so perhaps I should have purchased the Yonanas with the 36.
I think if the next time you do the 36, but you have to freeze them all.
Yeah, I get it. I get
You
it.
need the frozen Yonanas.
Yeah, I can do
Frozen bananas for the Yonanas.
it. Yes, I can do that.
And you could just make a bunch of Yonanas and put it in the freezer.
Yes. But to get back from this tangent, yes, I enjoy ice cream. I enjoy ice cream. Did you have a specific ice cream question, or were you just asking in
I was
general?
wondering what your flavors were.
Okay, my favorite, I think my single favorite ice cream flavor is black raspberry. Not, just as far as a straightforward fruit flavor, I love black raspberry ice cream. Not as easy to find.
Have you made it?
I did make, no, I actually, it's really hard to find actual black raspberries, which are like a hybrid fruit. So you can make you can sort of simulate it with blackberries and raspberries. But it's not a good, there's some good commercial, Turkey Hill makes a very good black raspberry ice cream. Friendly's makes a decent black raspberry ice cream. Turkey Hill may just be an East Coast regional brand. I'm not sure. But their black raspberry is quite fine. And then, as far as you're like, I've been into the Ben and Jerry's Stephen Colbert's Americone Dream. That's a good one.
Oh, tell me about that.
It's got pieces of ice cream cone in it, and that's why it's Americone Dream. And it's got, I think, caramel and chocolate swirly stuff, and it's tasty.
So it's like an ice cream cone within the ice cream.
Exactly.
Because when you eat the cone, there's ice cream with it, so you're getting
right,
and you're not biting it with your front teeth. Can you bite ice cream with your front teeth?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Oh, you can.
Yeah,
I can't.
Yep.
Hurts my teeth. So, any plans for this week coming up besides just?
I'm actually
in the glow.
I'm actually surprised to say I've never done this before, but on Wednesday I'm going to see Steely Dan.
Nice.
Yeah.
You never seen them?
No, never. They had such a short. I mean, they were there in the early 70s, and then they didn't tour from 1974 into the 90s, and then a lot of their activity was on the East Coast when I was living on the West Coast. They did some tours. I just didn't get to their shows during that. And
well, for all the shows you missed, I was probably there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm really looking for it. I saw Donald Fagen and his band, the Night Flyers, when it was still a temporary suspension of Steely Dan because Walter Becker was ill, but they thought he was going to come back. And then, I guess Walter and his family were cool with Donald retaining the name, and they've certainly retain the quality of the band. It's just
Oh,
such
for sure.
an
They
amazing
were
band.
supposed to play here, and then and then they were supposed to play here in May, and then so now it's May of 2022.
Right, right. Yeah, they're
But
doing
cool. Where are you seeing them?
the Capitol.
Wow.
Yeah, they're doing the round. They're doing the Capitol and the Beacon, I think, at some point on this run.
Mm,
And
I see. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, they did the Beacon residency thing for a bunch of years, and yeah, it's
I
so
was there. I was there.
yeah, they're doing these thematic things where they're playing. There's like a request night, and then there's a individual albums night.
Wow. If
Um,
I could get to New York tomorrow, I would go to that show in a
yeah,
second.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm getting to see. One set is going to be a random thing, and the other set's going to be the complete Royal Scam album, which is
oh wow.
a
Oh
favorite. So
wow. Oh,
yeah,
I'll have the best time. Now,
I'm,
will they
I'm
have a band playing in Garcia's beforehand or
I think for a night like that, probably not.
just
Uh,
that?
yeah, that the Garcias they might, but that's generally for like more of the jam bandy stuff. When they
Okay.
have another thing
Oh,
going
we'll
on.
have the best time, man.
I expect to. I fully expect to.
Feel
hearing that.
free to blast in on the show if you want, or if you
Yeah, I
want
don't.
FaceTime me for 20 seconds. I miss that music so
Yeah,
much.
I'll see what I can do. Yeah, it's
So that's tomorrow. So you're gonna
no,
do
no,
your
no, no,
show.
no. That's Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. So you do your show tomorrow. Okay.
Do my show tomorrow, and then it's a fairly
Yeah, the
average.
request nights are fun when they do that. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So yeah, it'll be that'll be my big event of the week. We'll be
That's
Stoney Day.
huge.
Yeah,
That's like,
yeah.
wow, how
Hmm.
fun. Yeah, Michael and he invited me to the show last year, and
Uh-huh.
then it was going to happen this year, and then
Right.
so good for you for going. Well, wow.
Yeah,
Anything else that you're recommending? I've been watching the morning show.
uh-huh.
Love it.
It's fun. It's fun. People, I have,
Important.
yeah, I have found some people have been giving up on it, like they got exasperated with the plot lines, but I'm still there. Um,
I'm only in the first 5 episodes, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
think every minute of it's incredibly important, and everyone might want to watch it, even
yeah,
that one scene. But
yeah. What's interesting about the show's it's in its second season now. The first season, you know, when they started writing it was several years before it actually got into
right,
production, and the Me Too thing hadn't broken that big. The Matt Lauer scandal hadn't broken that big. So I think the original conception for the show was going to be more like kind of like remember when Jane Pauley got like forced out of the Today Show and they brought in Deborah Norville and that was like very unpopular and all, so it was going to be more about those kind of intrigues about the older woman anchor being pushed out for someone younger and all that. But then everything changed, with Matt Lauer and all that. So they basically rewrote the entire first season. And that's when the Steve Carell character, became, the central, guy. And then they finished the first season. They started making plans for the second season, and COVID hit.
COVID happened.
And they basically rewrote the whole second season. I won't give away anything about the second season yet, but it's crazy how the show was completely reshaped by the moment.
Well, and that's cool that they did that. I think.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
think that they were able to, as the kids say, pivot and
yes,
make it work.
they definitely
But
pivoted.
I'm also watching a show called In the Dark.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I know that I've
It's
heard
fun.
of it.
Patty, you might like In the Dark. She's going back to Dexter. I haven't done Dexter.
Uh-huh.
My
Yeah.
cousin even had a Dexter dinner.
Oh wow. Yeah, I never did the original run of Dexter, which I heard like really it kind of fell off the cliff at the end. Like the last season or the last episodes got really
But now
bad.
there's a new season.
Now there's a new Dexter. I think it's like a prequel or something like that. It's
Okay.
like Dexter the early years, but yeah, I haven't really seen much about that. Yeah, the Dexter origin story or something like that.
Wow.
But yeah, what else? Well, Succession continues to be amazing and just brilliant. And that's yeah, that's the big Sunday night activity. That's like that Succession, because they're not doing, that's not bingeable. They put it out every week.
Oh, it's just a
Yeah, which I like, you know.
but yeah, it's more fun that way. That's how I
Yeah.
watched the what was the one on HBO Max? The one that everybody watched with her with the forehead.
With her with the forehead. Who is her with the forehead?
It
Um,
doesn't move.
oh, Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, Nicole
Yeah,
Kidman. The Undoing.
right. Yeah, I never got into that one.
The Undoing was one, and then you're like, oh my god.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where I am foreseeing disaster in television, speaking of her with the forehead, I think it's horrible miscasting, and I think it's the worst possible person to write it. There is a show about the behind the scenes story of I Love Lucy with Nicole Kidman as
I
Lucille
know.
Ball, which I totally don't get, and it's
What?
and written by Aaron Sorkin, who I think does not get comedy. So
Why would they? I
I
mean, she must be producing it or something.
yeah, I think so.
She must be totally footing the bill on that whole thing
Seems
because
like seems like a vanity project, because I can't imagine her pulling that off. I mean, if she does,
Julie
more
was
power to
not
her.
here, Mama. She just texted me to say that she wasn't here. That's why I messaged her. No,
All right.
she's not here. Hi, Mama.
Hi, Mama.
Yeah, and I think there's another Lucy movie being made because I was
Uh,
listening to her daughter talk on a podcast.
well, there is a podcast about Lucy that's on
Yeah,
right
there's a
now,
podcast
and
that she
right,
presented, but there's
right,
another film.
okay.
Um, but she also was sort of she was praising the Nicole Kidman thing, but
Oh, yeah,
how does she make her face go like that
I
when
can't.
Luke goes,
Yeah,
"Ugh."
yeah. I'm just.
She
I'll
might
be.
need a face in.
Could be, or they can do all kinds of things with CGI and prosthetics and.
Ooh. Julie is off with with her grandchildren tonight.
Oh, good for her.
Off with her grandchildren. Well,
Mhm.
speaking of, man, I haven't even I got Lillian's food and water together and I got some tea and
Mhm.
I just need to
You need to
get here.
you need to it
To go watch
yeah.
some In the Dark. What do you got there?
I recommend at a moment like this I recommend reclining. That's what I'm about to do some reclining. There we go. Yeah, reclining is good. And shall we leave it there?
Do you have a letter for me?
Oh, letter.
Big cat.
L for Lucy pops to mind.
How about L, L, L for Lucy, L, L. How's she gonna do that with that forehead? I don't know. But L, 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 I love you all so much. And I just got to say, please keep in touch. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be real nice. 'Cause Gary Lambert's got the right idea now to recline and recline. And I will say, I hope that all of you have lovely thoughts, loud words, and a give me a L word for heart, Larry. Gary. Ah, Larry.
Well, love hard,
But before that, we got to have a large heart.
That's good. A large heart is good.
Love hard, everybody.
And L is for later.
Later. Love ya.
Love you.
Love harder. How
Night.
hard?
Real hard, which has an L at the end. Bye. Good night.
Good night. Love you, Mama.